Okay, can you please come and settle down? Can we start, please? Right. The next session is about Microsoft Excel application. Let me quickly brief you on certain things that we need to know about Excel before we start it. Please listen to me first of all. I believe Excel is a product that allows us to, in your understanding, store data in it. That's what most of us do every day. Use an Excel sheet, keep feeding data values into that. But that's a wrong concept on Excel that people have created. So Microsoft, in fact, has created among us. Now, when you look at Microsoft Office application stack, we have a product called Microsoft Access. I suppose you all must have heard of it. You must have worked with it, some of you. Microsoft Access is a database management system, which means a place that you can store data and make sure you utilize data for some certain purpose. Right? When Access kind of application is already built into Office application stack, Excel can never be a tool that allows you to store data. So then what is the purpose that we have place that we store data in Excel? Because obviously when you open up an Excel sheet, we have columns and rows we put data in. The reason for it is this. When you compare the amount of data that we work daily with the amount of data that you need to have to put into a database kind of a software, our data sets are pretty small, negligible in simple terms. Right? What is the maximum amount of data set that you work with? 1 lakh data? 2 lakhs? Anybody who work with 2 lakhs records? 3 lakhs records? I don't think anybody goes beyond 1 lakh even. Your data set must be pretty small, isn't it? That means your data set is negligible size. But the reason why we work in Excel application to store data in it is because Microsoft said, listen, if your data set is small, then you don't have to learn how to put it into a central location in a database like Access and put it into Excel and do what you want to do in it. You can put it in Excel itself and do what you want to do in it. That is why we have a set of columns and rows in Excel application to work with it. So what I wanted to understand is, I understand why we work in Excel to store data in. But the purpose of Excel is not to really store data. Now we, day in, day out, do a lot of things in Excel application. As an example, we do create charts, we do calculations, we sort, we filter, we do certain analysis based on certain things like conditions, based on formatting options, pivoting data, I'll be talking about in big fact today. Likewise, we do a lot of things in Excel application. My question to you is, what is the purpose of doing all of that? Can somebody tell me? Why do we create charts? Why do you do calculations? Why do we do that? And, and why do you want to have an end result? Very good for decision making. In other words, you can look at a data set and make decisions out of it. In order to make decisions, you need to have something called as information. Information allows you to make decisions, but not data. Now, what we store every single day are data. So, what we use Excel application is actually to convert the raw data into information. That is what you call as analyzing. Information means meaningful information again. That is what you call as analyzing. So, please understand, Excel is an application that allows you to analyze data, not to store data. Not a place that you given for you to store data. Is it clear? Yeah. With that thought, I'm going to work with my Excel. I have only one Excel worksheet that or workbook that I've done and I bought to talk about what I can do in my Excel application. Right, if you watch my screen, if you just watch my screen, I have an Excel sheet with some certain data which are obviously not relevant to what you do. Right, we are looking at some cake production or probably sales. Right, I have let me give a brief of what this data set is, which is what I'm going to use for the program. I have some certain sales reps from different sales locations, and I have the customers who purchase products from these sales locations, which are my cakes, and on these particular dates, these customers have come and bought these cakes with the number of units that are given here with the unique costs that are given here. Is it clear? Now the problem is, in fact, first of all, before I go to the problem, let me explain one more thing. This data set has 365 records starting from January 1st, 2015. When I go to the extreme bottom, we have December 31st, 2015, 366 records, which is basically with the headers. Otherwise, we have 365 records because 2015 is not a leap year. Right, coming up. Okay, how did I go up and down? Control down arrow to go down, control up arrow to go up. Is it clear? I'm just giving the shortcuts also in the video. You can obviously understand what I did. Right. Now, as I told you, our purpose of Excel is to analyze data by storing it and reuse it and do some things on top of it and analyze it. Is it clear? Now, my problem is, if I store data in it, before you analyze it, Excel should know first of all what kind of a data that I'm storing. That is the reason why in Excel application, when you store data, you have to go and define them before you work with them. Defining is not a word that we use in Excel. For that purpose, we use a word called as formatting cells. So my next process is to go and format my data to tell Excel this kind of data is what I'm using. Right, first of all, I'm going to go to column header A. You will follow a mechanism to define your data by right-clicking on a header, which will highlight the whole data set in that particular column, and go to format cells. Now, format cells will give you the format cells dialog box. You can select anything under number tab under categories, which you also call as data types, to define your data. But unfortunately, I want you to be productive. That's my program. I'm going to cancel this. So to go to the format cells dialog box, don't waste your time right clicking. Highlighting is a must. Obviously, you have to select it. Control 1 on your keyboard, Control +1 on your keyboard will give you the format cells dialog box. Now, if you watch my screen, you get to see that under category, the general is the category or the data type that is selected for my sales reps. Please remember, in Excel application, at a given point, if you see generally selected from the data types for any category, any data set, that is a method that Excel is telling you that you are, or not that you are, Excel is telling you that I don't understand my data. If Excel can speak, this is how I tell Excel. By general means, Excel is telling you, I don't understand your data. So if you are going to define your data, you need to make sure that you select anything out of it other than general. General means I don't understand. So what should I give for my sales rep? I think in my understanding it is text. Let's click OK. Sales location. I think it is again text. Click OK. These are dates. So I select date. Remember, Word or Microsoft Office applications by default, your computer by default works with the American format. So technically your word is in your date is in American format, which is month, day and year. Probably may not be the format that we may use, right? I suppose I'm not sure about Bangladesh, but in Sri Lanka we are using day, month and year format. You are using the same thing, sir? That's the British format that they're using, I believe. So I'm using the American format here because it is by default. Let it be. I don't want to really change that. But keep in mind, we are using the month first, then comes the day, and then comes the year. Right? I select date and click OK. And then I go to my customer and product. Both I select at once because both have the text. So I Control 1 and select text for both of them. Number of units are supposed to be numbers. As my product cannot have decimal places because we don't sell cake pieces. We are industrial type cake manufacturer. So we only sell full cakes. So I don't have decimal places for it. I make it 0. And I go to my unit cost. Control 1. I'm using currency for it. Please remember, all the decimal is pretty important. All the currency symbol in the world are listed in this list, including the currency for you. I'm not sure what is the currency that is, whether Taka is really there in this. Bangladesh, let's see. It went off, is it? I'm not really sure.
I'm not really sure. I'm going to anyway keep it dollar. There should be something for Bangladesh stuff here. Bangladesh Taka should be there. Oh, BD something. BDT must be there otherwise. So, but anyway, symbol is there. I'm not going to change it. I'm going to keep it as it is. I'm going to click OK. I'm using dollars today. Yeah. Right now, watch my screen. I told you from the beginning, my purpose of Excel application is to analyze data. In other words, create information out of it. When I look at my first record, I see Jane Seaman customer has come to my shop on January 1st, has bought fruit cakes, 50 units of fruit cakes from Alvin in Berkshire location for the cost of $700 for each cake. Now, these are all data values. These are independent data values. Data is what we store in Excel application. But what we need to create in Excel are not data, we need information. So I thought I want to do an analysis. I would like to see the revenue that I have generated on January 1st. So I'm going to go and calculate sales. Yeah. And sales are calculated by multiplying number of units with unique cost. Now don't think that I'm actually parking myself here. I'm trying to teach you something else by doing this, because everybody know this, right? But you have to understand this concept first before you work with anything else. Yeah. Right. I'm going to click on 50. I get something called as F2. I have no time to explain or ask you to explain this to me, so I'm going to tell you F2 kind of things in Excel application are called as cell references. Please remember this, cell references. So this is my cell reference for the first number of unit value. I multiply that. This is my cell reference for the unit cost, G2. When I press enter, I get the answer. And the dollars and decimal places came in here coincidentally. It's not really something that should happen. I don't worry about it. I worry about only the number. I have done 35,000 taka or rupees or yen or pound or dollars, whatever it is, revenue. Yeah. Is it clear? Right. Question. How do I get this? This is only question, probably one or two questions I'll probably ask you here. How do I get this calculated for the rest of my records? Dragging, by clicking this, I can go to the autofill handle and drag it down. Let me ask you a question because you are in front of me. I have 900,000 records. Are you telling me to drag it down for 900,000 records? That's not going to be productive at all. I can double click. Right. Let's say as an example, for these few records, I have a date reference but no data. If I double click here, what will happen, sir? Until here it will come. Imagine, until here it will come, right? Imagine these blanks without the date, with the date reference, were not in my screen. It was like out of the 900,000 records, like about 500,670 first record onwards, 5 records. If I double click, it will stop there and I will never go and search and find out whether I have got the result for other records or not, isn't it? We don't do that as usual, isn't it? So then there's going to be a problem. So why we have to go through all of these issues? That's simply because we work with data sets. That is why Excel come and say, please work with a table. Then we are pretty confused because obviously working with the table means we are working with the table right now. We have columns and rows here. We have headers. We have data below headers. This is a table. But in fact, this is a data set. Excel says convert this into a table and you will find all the wonders. What do you really mean by that? Let's go and check it out. I'm going to anyway delete the sales column because that is new. I click on my data according to Excel to convert data into a table. I can follow two methods. I'll show you the both, but I work in the shortcuts. I can click on the data and go to home tab and style group, and I can click on format as table. All these options that are available here are based on color variation, light, medium and dark. Functionality wise, everything is the same. I can select what I want. I can click OK, but I don't do that. I actually use shortcuts. I click on the data set, I control T. I do press control plus and T to convert my data into a table. When I click OK, we got a table done. The two simple benefits that I get to see the moment you create a table is the table headers that you see here, the sales rep location, those are table headers. Has the auto filters indicated automatically without me manually indicating them, which I don't have to waste my time again. Second thing is every alternative row is indicated with a different color, which will allow me to easily recognize what is the row that I'm in. Something that we always try to put manually, which is not necessary for us to do anymore. But I got the table done to get my total calculated, isn't it? I click here, I type sales. Please watch my screen. You can see my sales are getting typed down in a white color background, which says it is not part of my table. But when I press enter, it automatically becomes part of your table. So what does it mean? It means that in adjacent columns, in adjacent rows, if you type anything and go to the next row, it automatically become part of your row, your table. Is it clear? Is it clear? Right, I'm going to undo this stuff because I wanted to understand it. So we don't have to do any extra effort or extra work to convert or add new records to your table. It's basically just type it, automatically become part of it. I come to the sales column. I calculate sales by multiplying number of units with unique cost. I click on 50. The moment I click on 50, I remember very well that earlier I got F2, but I get right now something called as at this cell you have number of units. It's true. And the square brackets indicates that it has picked up the full data range across my number of unit column. Multiply. At this cell you have unique cost. The square bracket indicates that it has picked up the full data range across my unique cost column. Once I get the formula, to get the answer, we have to press enter. So what I do when I press enter, what happens? It calculates for every single record and give you the result, which you don't have to do anything much. You have million records, I don't care about it. It gives me the result for million. Is it clear? Right, now I have a problem where I don't have any dollars and decimal places down here. I'm going to do my usual process, get the dollars done. I'm okay. Is it clear? And my next thing is, I got my table done. Now I got my first analysis done here. I need to do my next analysis. The next analysis is about getting the total of my sales. So in usual terms, when I want to get the total of my sales to find out at the end of the financial year what is my total revenue that I generated, I usually go and highlight all the data and keep on highlighting. Imagine I have a million records. It's going to be a very hectic job to do it. Get an additional cell in my home tab, edit group on the right hand side, editing group. I have some few functions that are available. But that's a waste of time to do that. But we created the table because tables are going to make us productive. We already saw a couple of things. So how do I really get this total done? You are in row number 1. Watch my screen, please. What I do is this. I click on the table. I go to my design tab. And I go to my table styles option group, and my total row is available there. When I click on the total row, I go to the bottom of my table. I have another row called as 367th row, which is my total. If you go to right hand side, I have hashes on my sales column bottom. Why do I have hashes here? The column width is not enough to fit the data. I go to right hand side border of the sales column. When I see the 2A pointed arrow like in my mouse pointer, I double click. And that's basically it. We have done $30 million worth of sales on this financial year. That's my first benefit of working with total row, table plus total row. Now, let me ask you a question. How much time did I spend to get this total done? Few is a very diplomatic answer. But I need the correct, tell me some numbers, please. Maybe about 1 second. Why? What I need to do, look at my screen, please. What I need to do is just click and check the checkbox. That's so simple as that. If you don't believe, I'm going to take it out. Now we don't have the total. Click, check, 1 second. That's simple as that. Can anybody here tell me a method that you can do this in 1 second at least, rather than using this? I'll probably not give you anything. But I'll give you a water bottle or something. That's what I have to give right now. Anybody who can tell me any better method to get it done? There's no other method in Excel application. This is the most productive and effective method in Excel. That's not all. I now want to find out the total of number of minutes. Now I don't have any more total rows to do that. But I don't care. I just go to number of minutes column. On my total row, I have a blank cell. I click on that and I get all these options available for me to work with. So you want the total, click on sum, there you get the sum. But that's not all. We can also do other things like coverage, count. I can get the average number of, okay, forget about number of, let's go to sales. This is my average sale, $83,464, average per day. I count 365 records. Maximum sale is $240,000. The minimum sale is $11,000. We have the summation, standard deviation, variance. These are all statistical functions built into Excel application. If you require, You can also click on more functions and you can access all the 550 odd number of functions built into Excel application from here with 4 clicks, nothing else. So that's the productivity that I'm looking at when you look at the Excel application, right? So think about it, what amount of time that we have wasted every single day not working with tables. But the beautiful thing is, any analysis that you do with the table right now will automatically get updated just because you update this. Let me show you some small thing. Look at my screen. I'm going to delete this, right? I'm going to go to Home tab. I'm going to go to Design tab. I deleted the total row. Design tab. In my left-hand side, I have a group called Properties, and I have a name for my table called as Table 2. Right? We never got names for our tables or data sets. Today we have a name for a table because Excel now understand with the name how many columns are there in Excel, how many rows are there in Excel, this particular table, how many cells are there in it, what kind of data sets that you or data types that you applied, every single detail about it. I'm going to give a name for this called as Microsoft. Well, that's a bad name. I'm going to give a name for this as um, um, Islamic Bank. I and L both look the same, man. I'm sorry. That's how the keyboard types, right? Once you type a name, we press enter. Now, what is the name for this particular table? Now, I'm going to go here. I want to do a calculation, right? Watch my screen. I want to sum up some values from here. Now, I know I can't sum up text and all of that. I don't want an answer. I just want to initiate something. So I'm going to click over here, say equal sum, your tab, go inside the formula, and highlight a bit of data from here. And that gives me a range. We used to work with range when you used to work with data sets. But today I'm not working with a data set, I'm working with a table. So a table has something that defines a table called as table name. So what I do is I just go there and type down IAS and I get all the options for IAS, and I also have something without an fx, which means not a formula, with a table which is called Islamic Bank. And select that, give a tab, it automatically takes that. With the moment I do that, do you see there's a small blue color line that goes to the entire data set till the bottom of my data set and show me that, see, I have taken the whole data set in my screen? Yes or no? Right, which means that this calculation will always look at the table, not a specific range. Which also means that when the table updates, your calculation updates then and there itself with all the new records. Which also means that if I create a chart like this for a table, when your table updates, your chart updates. Which also means that every single analysis that you do from this point onwards for this table will update by itself without you doing anything like what you have been doing till now, because you are working with a table. I hope you understand the potential of this, because we waste a lot of time working with data sets. Please don't do that anymore. Work with tables, get your things done, right? If you really want to be productive, you need to make sure that you work with these features. Is it clear? Right. So that's all about tables that I want to discuss in my program today. The next, you want to see that? Okay, so I'll undo what I did and I just get the table done. Okay, again, coming back to undo, please remember there are 100 levels of undo that is given in Excel 2010 and 13. So you can undo 100 times back. Is it clear? If you undo 100 times back, you can redo 100 times to the front. Okay, that's how also possible, right? So I undo this, and this is my data set, sir. This is my normal data set. Until this is your fine, right, sir? Yeah, so click on the data, Control plus T, simple as that. Control plus T, and I click OK. Here is my table. Is it done? Simple steps. Click on the data, Control plus T, you get the data table automatically done. Is it done, sir? And I go and click on sales. Sorry, sales equal. Click on number of units multiplied by. Click on unit cost and enter. And I can control one. I can control one here, and I can select currencies. Is it done? My pleasure. No worries. Anytime, please. If there's any question, please ask me. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Now I'm going to go to a pretty important area in Excel application. Listen to me very carefully. When you look at different concepts on Excel that allows you to analyze data, we have some certain things that we use day in, day out. But the problem is, most of our questions that we ask from Excel application, we also refer to questions in Excel as queries. You must have heard the word people use call as queries. The queries are questions. Yeah. When we ask questions from the data in Excel, we have a tendency to use the filters to answer my questions. As an example, I want to see cheesecake sales. I go to product, I go to auto filter, I deselect all, I select cheesecake and I click OK. Done. Possible. But if I want to find out cheesecake and ribbon cake in two different questions at the same time, how do I do that? You can't do that. You can obviously go and select ribbon cake and cheesecake both from here, but you can't show both ribbon cake separately, ribbon cake and cheesecake at the same data set, because filters work in such a way that you have to filter once for one question, and you want to answer another question, remove the filters, answer the second question. But my problem is I get in a day like about 20-30 questions to be answered based on our sales figures. Now how do I answer all of that? There is nothing in Excel that allows you to do that with the filters. Is it clear? But please also understand that filters are pretty complex. Why? We also have three mechanisms to filter by using, look at my screen, by using number filter, or you can also use advanced filter, which is very complex again, or you can use a formula and get your data filtered, which is also complex. We are looking at productivity. If you are using a complex mechanism, you are never going to be productive. So you are not going to be productive. Complex mechanism means you're going to make sure you're going to make your process complex. It's not simplified. The purpose of Excel is lost. Number three, filter when you do it. Listen to me very carefully. Let's say, as an example, some of maybe my finance guy come and tell me, boss, can you help me with this? Can you show me cheesecake sales? Okay. Uh, what I want to show you. I got cheesecake sales. Obviously, you can go to the product and do that. I was thinking about something else. Sorry about it. It took me a couple of seconds to do that. Okay, now this guy is asking me a question which is like pretty crazy to understand. What is that? I have only cheesecake in my screen right now, isn't it? Now, so this guy is telling me now, boss, I need to compare the cheesecake sales with the original data set. Now, can you do that for me? Now, can somebody tell me how do I compare the filtered data set with the originals? How can you do that? Is there any way that you can suggest me for that, please? With what we know of, there's nothing that we can do about it. So based on these problems that we have in Excel application, based on the problems that people go through daily, working with different queries in Excel application, based on the queries that people have been, or users of ours, of his applications have been,
সম্মানিত প্রশিক্ষণার্থীবৃন্দ, আপনাদের জন্য একটা ঘোষণা হচ্ছে, আমাদের এই সেশনটা একটা পর্যন্ত কন্টিনিউ হবে। একটা থেকে দুটো পর্যন্ত হচ্ছে আমাদের লাঞ্চ ব্রেক, এবং সম্মানিত এমডি মহোদয় আমাদের সাথে একটি সেশন নেবেন, 1 ঘন্টার একটি সেশন, 2টো থেকে 3টা পর্যন্ত। তো সবাই আমরা একটা থেকে দুটোর মধ্যে লাঞ্চ এবং আপনার নামাজ সেরে আবার দুটোর আগে এখানে এসে যাবেন ইনশাআল্লাহ। ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ।
right? Look at my screen, please. Okay, so we have now these problems that we have with the filters can be overcome with only one method that Microsoft gave us in Excel 2003, the version that some of you are using right now, called as pivot tables. Pivot tables, right? Let me tell you a few things about pivot tables before I start working with it. If you work with Excel applications, if you don't work with pivot tables, in my understanding, I treat that as a crime. Now, if you are working with pivot tables, no, if you don't work with pivot tables right now, you'll probably ask me, what do you mean by I'm doing a crime? Because I don't work with pivot tables. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to show you what it is. Because there's no point in telling. Let's look at it. But again, keep in mind, if you work with Excel application, if you don't work with pivot tables, it is like you don't work with the heart of Excel, because pivot table is the heart of Excel. And I can tell a lot of things, but let's go and work out and see what this pivot table is about, which we have not seen before. Or maybe if some of you are working with it, that's fine. I'm going to talk about many things around pivot table concept. Right, watch my screen, please. Right, in order to create this pivot table concept, I need to follow some steps. First of all, I have my original data set. Now, why do we create pivot tables? Because I need to analyze them better to avoid the problems that we have with the general filtering concept. So I click on my data. This is how we do the pivot table, right? We first of all have to create, by using the original data set, something called as the pivot environment. I'm going to go and show you how to get that pivot environment created. See my screen. I click on my table. One more thing. In Excel 2003, we don't have table concept. That is only available from 2007. But keep in mind, you don't have to worry about that again if you are going to work with pivot tables. Pivot tables are supported in 2003 on datasets also, because you are working with datasets in 2003. Is it clear? So you can always create pivot tables for datasets, but you may not find every feature that I'm going to show you here in 2003, but you can do something out of it. Is it clear? Right. I'm going to click on my table. I go to my insert tab. In tables group, I have pivot table command. So when I click on pivot table command, I get this dialog box. Okay, wait, I'm going to do something. I'm going to click over here. I'm going to go to design tab and give the name for this table as we gave a name earlier, right? But I undid that for somebody else's questions. Islamic Bank. Enter. So I click over here. I go to insert tab. I go to tables group. I click on pivot tables. Now this dialog box allows me to create a pivot table. It says create a pivot table. Choose the data that you want to analyze. Select table or range. Table range. We are looking at Islamic Bank. What do you mean by that? This pivot table, once it is done, doesn't look at a range of data. It looks at the table. And it also says that when your table updates, your pivot table analysis updates by itself. Right, I'm going to click OK. Please understand, I'm in year 2015. Sales sample one sheet. When I click OK, I automatically get a new sheet called as sheet 1 created. Is it clear? Yes? Yes or no? Yes. Right. Now this environment what you see here is what you call as a pivot environment. Now pivot environment is what I'm going to use to create the pivot table. I have a question that I want to answer. I want to find out from this data set, sales location wise, quarterly sales. You know, quarter, there are 4 quarters for it. I want sales location wise, quarterly sales. Now my question is this. I need to start this process from somewhere. So sales is the only number that I see in this question. I want to find out the sales location wise quarterly sales. Sales is a number, right? So I'm going to go to my pivot environment. On the right hand side top, look at my screen please. On the right hand side of your screen, you have pivot table fields. Under that you have all the headers of your base table in it, like sales rep, location, date, customer, and all of that. So sales location wise quarterly sales is what you are looking at. So I'm going to get sales, drag and drop into values. I got sum of values, so sum of sales. And when I do that, on my left hand side I get sum of sales with a small tag with $30 million sale total. Is it clear? It's not a table, it's just a small tag. We look at it. We just started the process. Now my question is, I want sales location wise quarterly sales. Now I need to get the sales location. I drag and drop it into columns. When I put that sales location into columns, somebody can ask me, why did you put that into columns? I have no reason for it. But when I put the sales location from here to columns, I see my sales locations are in columns. But if I want, I can put this sales location, take it from the columns and drag and drop it to rows. If I put in rows, what will happen? My sales locations are in rows. Then you will probably ask me another question that, okay, so then when do I put values into columns and when do I put values into rows? There's nothing called when. There is nothing called when. It's about what you want to look at. How simplified you want your data set to be. So if I want to look at my data in a simple form like this, go ahead, you can put in rows. If you want to look at in columns like this, go ahead and put it. There's nobody stopping you from doing that. That's the flexibility of pivot tables. Now my question says, I want sales location wise quarterly sales. Now if you look at my data set, the original table, the base table, we call that as, we have sales rep, location, sales date, customer, product, number of unit, unique cost, and sales. Do we have anything called quarters in this? So then how do you get quarterly sales? Let me tell you one more thing, sir, before you answer. Quarters are created based on the financial year of a particular organization. Yes. Now, what is your financial year? January to December or April to March? Okay, January. Huh? That January, December, here July to something. How is that possible? How is that possible? Yes, sir. Okay, fiscal year. Okay, let's say you look at fiscal year. Fiscal year is from July to June, right? So we have the same stuff in Microsoft, I believe. Right. If it is July to June, the first quarter is going to be July, August, September, and second quarter is going to be October, November, December. I need the quarter two sales. If my boss says I want quarter two sales, how are you going now? Now you can answer, sir. Tell me, how do I get quarter two sales? I have a million records in this data set. Let's say I have a million records. I need quarter two sales. What do I do? You have absolutely nothing that you can do about it in your normal table. You absolutely have nothing you can do about it until unless you have a column called quarters for each day. If you indicate this is quarter one, this is quarter two, likewise. Otherwise, you won't be able to filter from a quarter with the relevant financial year. The quarters based on the fiscal year. But I'm not asking this question that I want to find out quarterly sales for the fun sake. I'm pretty serious about it. But I don't know how to get the quarters from this data. But I have something related to quarters called as sales date. That's the only thing that I have. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go to my pivot table. I'm going to find out, first of all, daily sales. That is what I have. So I'm going to go and drag and drop sales date into rows. Here we have my daily sales. So I have location wise daily sales. Yes? You have, yes, sir, you have a question? Somebody is raising hand, I believe. No, he's not raising any, something else he's doing. Stretching his hands. Okay. Right. Now I have location wise daily sales. But what do I need in reality? Quarterly sales. I'll right click on a date. Watch it very carefully. I go to group. Under by category, we have seconds, minutes, hours, dates, months, quarters, years. I select quarter. Then how do I do from July to June? Starting at July, ending at June. I'm not going to do it right now because my data varies from January to December. You have the luxury for doing all of that built into Excel. In pivot tables, I click OK. Here is my quarterly sales report. Question. There should be at least somebody here who has done a quarterly sales report before today. How did you do it? Unless if you don't have MIS tool that allows you to look at the quarterly sales, there is no way that you can do a quarterly sales without the quarter column. How did you do it? And how much time it took for you to do it, also something that you have to consider. With the MIS department, sometimes MIS department take a lot of time to create and give that report to you. If I'm not wrong, because that's what MIS do. They will not give you at once. They will take time when they give it, even though they can do it faster. So, am I right? Yeah. So there are problems like that. How much time did I spend to get it done? How much time did I spend to get it done? Not 1 second. Yeah, it's about roughly 10 seconds. Nothing more than 10 seconds. And that is the amount of time that you have to spend to get a quarterly sales report created. Now think about it. What you would have done in normal data sets? Nothing. And I got the quarterly sales report done in 10 seconds. And watch my screen. My finance guys are telling, boss, now I have a problem. Now these are not subtotalized, right? Quarterly subtotals I don't see. I mean, can we do something about it? Yes, no problem. I just right click on a quarter and say subtotal them. Done. And these values are pretty misleading. What are these values? These are supposed to be currencies, is it? Do you see any dollars or decimal places down here? No. So what do? I usually right click and go to format cells, is it? Yes. But if I go and click on currency right now and click OK, I don't get everything formatted. I undo. I right click on and doesn't go to format cells anymore in pivot tables. In pivot tables, you go to number format. And when I select currency and click OK, you get to see everything got formatted automatically. I don't have to do anything. It's 2 seconds for everything that you do. Right? In a time like about 12 seconds, I got this total pivot table done. And that's pivot table. That's what pivot table offers you. That's the productivity. Now, as I told you, that it's a crime not to work with pivot tables if you work with normal tables. Now, you should feel a little bit what exactly I mean by that. I just started. There are lots to look at. Okay, I just started. There are lots to look at. See my screen. Now, let's say as an example, we have a meeting with Microsoft, let's say, and they are looking at this revenue. You have done Devon sales location. They don't sell cakes, but imagine that. And Devon sales location, you have done $5.7 million worth of sales. So these guys are asking us, how did you generate this particular sales? We want to look at details on that. I want a detailed breakdown. Can you show me the detailed breakdown? When did you do it? Where did you do it? Like who are the sales type, locations, number of products, the unique cost, every single bit of details on how you generate this $5.7 million. That's a good question. Obviously, you have to waste a lot of time doing that particular report again. But what I do in pivot table is this. I'm in sheet 1. I go to this $5.7 million and watch my screen. Watch my screen there. I double click. I got sheet 2. And we have Devon here. And if I highlight the data set and see, the total is 5.7 million. So what is this then? What is this? What is this sheet 2 in our case? This is a detailed breakdown of how this particular number in sheet 1 was generated. That means in a pivot table, not only that, any number that you click, double click and go inside will provide you a detailed report on how you get that number. And you can never get this in your normal tables. You double click a normal table for a year, you don't get anything out of it. Yes or no? Yes. For pivot table, you double click any number, you get a detailed report for any number. You don't believe me? You want to see this, how I generate this? Let's say this value, $160,000, $62,250. How do I get it? I double click, done. I get the report. It has a little amount of records that is supported us to get this particular sales value generated. Now that is basically the powerfulness of it. Please also be mindful about one more thing. These two reports that I created by double clicking, sheet 2 and sheet 3, are independent 100% from the pivot table and the base table where your original data is in. So that means you can take these two and do whatever you want, these two sheets, and you can do whatever you want on all that, and it will never affect the original and the pivot tables. Is it clear? That is productivity, and that actually guides you on what you need to do to analyze your data. Right? Do we have any question until this point?
Yeah, go on. And do you have any option to max seller find out here?
Max of the values?
Of seller. Not Seller.
Top seller product, is it?
That all are sellers are available here, but we need to top one or two.
No, it's like this. There are methods to do it. Now these are location wise. You want to look at the top selling location or the product? I'm looking at the product as location wise sales. You want the top seller location or the product?
Yeah, no problem.
Let's say top seller location. What you can do is, now the grand total provides you the top seller value, right? The grand total.
Quarterly basis, top location wise or product wise. And the all that are available, but we need only top two sellers or for two product. Top two.
Yeah,
products.
I'm actually going to, with this data I have only the locations. I'm going to show you the top selling locations. Yeah. So what you can do is, you can quarterly wise if you want to get, that's a different case. This is what I do. I'm going to right click and collapse all them, and I'm going to highlight this data. So I can do Control A, or I can just highlight this data, or otherwise I can click over here, Control Shift down, Control Shift right. In fact, the last row is not needed. When I go to my conditional formatting, color scales, it shows you, okay, grand total also I don't need to highlight. Color scales, it shows you what are the top values. On quarter one, top seller comes from Devon. On quarter two top seller comes over here. And quarter three, top seller comes over here. And quarter four, top seller comes over here. Either one of these two. This is both are same numbers. Am I right, sir? Do you see the numbers? Yes. See, quarter one, 1.7 is the highest number, is it? Am I right, sir?
Yeah.
And quarter
But,
two,
actually, we need only quarter wise top two sellers product. Top two.
you again go to the product. I'm actually showing you the location wise.
Not total recordable lead. Only top two per quarter. It's a location wise or product wise, no problem. But we need only top two product, best seller product quarterly. Not details to need to full data. Only two. Top two.
Okay, so okay. You need to show the quarterly what is the highest value.
Yeah, highest value. Highest and second highest two. Only the two.
So if you really look at this value, you don't really understand that, is it?
Yeah, here the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 location, but we need the top two location. Or two product, top seller two products.
You want to see only those two locations. But how do you really do that in a grid? Because let me tell you, quarter one you will have Devon top seller. But imagine, because this is a product, these are location wise sales, right?
Yeah.
So if I imagine this, imagine these are branches of yours. These are your branch locations. So this branch has on quarter one. Quarter two has this branch. So that means both the branch will be displayed in one report, right? Quarter three has this branch. So technically, how does it work? So this is actually, in my understanding, this report shows the answer for what you asked me. But you're asking each quarter separately, in my understanding. So if you want only the quarters separately, then what you can do is you can get the quarters in the filters, and you can say quarter one, and these are the quarter one figures. So I can just remove that, and you can look at the top seller in quarter one. So like this is actually applied into the grand total. So I'm going to first of all remove the, okay, let me do this. Let me remove the grand totals. So I can just get the quarters, put it into filters, and then select quarter one. Here we have quarter one. Top seller on quarter one is Devon. Top seller on quarter one, month wise also I have the breakdown. So you just get the quarters. It's technically you can get the total of it. If I get the total of it down, so that these are the top sellers. So this is my top seller on Cornwall, is my top seller on, sorry. So how do I get the total right now onto the bottom? So Kent. Kent is my top seller on January. Sorry, in my quarter one. So if you want to get quarter two, Berkshire. Quarter three, 957,000. That is Rutland. And quarter four, top seller, 1 million. Did you get it, sir? So quarter three, quarter one, quarter two, quarter one. So if you want, you can just change the colors to properly to fit in what you want. Alt HLR. I can edit and I can say I want the lowest value to be red, the highest value to be green. So lowest value to be red, the highest value to be green, others in yellow. So let's say I put 2 colors. That'll be easy. Answer?
No.
Yeah. So that is basically something that you can look at. And I was here, right? Any other questions? I can just move to my next area of work. Right, I'm going to create another pivot table. So if you look at my screen, this is what I'm going to look at. Or in other words, I'm going to look at I want to look at product-wise quarterly sales. Right, same scenario. I go to Insert tab, go to Tables Group, Pivot Tables, and I click OK. I got the new sheet available for me. So I want product-wise. Product is here, sales is here. So product-wise sales are there. Quarterly. Now I have a quarter automatically because in my previous pivot table I created a quarter. Now we can utilize it again in this table, right? I put quarters down here, quarterly sales. I want month-wise breakdown, so I just have to take sales data, put it on the quarters. So there you have month-wise breakdown. Right click on a quarter and say subtotal. Right click on a number and say currency. I want to. So now my finance guys want me to show that quarterly product-wise quarterly sales report, customer-wise. I want to see, let's say in your case, branch-wise, I want to see the quarterly sales. So I have a customer, I don't have the branch. Or I can say sales location, let's say in other words. So I can take sales location and put into filters, like what I did earlier. Here we have all the branches available. Let's say I want Berkshire. Here's my Berkshire location sales. You can see very well these are blank. What do you mean by that? In Berkshire location, January, February, March, blackcurrant, there are no sales. Cheesecake, there are no sales. In March, I have a sale on chocolate cake, but other 2 months I don't have sales. So this is basically how it works. This is business intelligence first hand, BI first hand. I want you to remember that, right? I'm going to get back to my original again. Now my question is, I wanted to. Your question. Tell me. Yeah. No. My question is, I want to create a separate report each for every branch location. I mean, you in your bag you have 300 what? How much? 305 branches, right? 304 branches. Creating a simple report manually each other is not going to manually one after another. It's not going to ever work out. It's a time-consuming, like hours of days of work that you have to do on that. But what I do is this. Watch my screen. I'm in sheet 4, right? Watch my screen. I want a location-wise report. I click on the sales pivot table. In my Analyze tab, I go to Pivot Tables. I have the option. I click on that. I go to Show Report Filter Pages. When I get this dialog box in my screen, I have location. Because I have I have location here because I have the location in filters. If I would have had sales location, sales, whatever you want in the filters like branches, district, country, everything, you get everything here. So if my boss says I want a district wise report, click district, click OK. But my boss said I want a sales location wise report. I click sales location, I click OK. I got one location. What happened? What happened was you got a location wise report created for each and every location in your screen. Yeah, 1,000 locations, I don't care. It's 5 seconds it will take me to create that. And you have report each for every report each for every location created with like 5 seconds. People waste a lot of time doing this, right? Imagine, look at my screen, please. Imagine I'm going to select this stuff. I'm going to delete them, right? If my boss says I want a this is my original table. I don't want location. I want a customer-wise report. I have customer here, and I go to analyze. I click on this analyze options. Here we have customer in this dialog box. Now you see I'm in sheet 1, right? Sheet 4, right? Click OK. I got for every customer one report each with the same customer's name on the sheet name and the sheet selected. How much time it takes for me to do this? 5 seconds. I know people waste a lot of time, hours of days of time to get these reports done. I wanted to understand the potential of pivot table. That's what I told you. Pivot table only allows you to do this. Nothing else in Excel application allows you to do that. How did you do it till today is the question. It's a question. So if you don't know how to do that, how to work with pivot tables, you don't know how to do this. I'm going to come back to my sheet 4. Watch my screen, please. I'm in sheet 4 again. And I'm going to talk about the last area on this particular sheet before I just move to my final touch-ups that I want to do on my, what can I say, Excel application. So let's work on that. Look at my screen, please. I will go to my, look at my screen, please. I go to my pivot tables fields. I click on the cross and close it. And I will reduce the screen size to, let's say, about 65. So I have some hashes. I'm going to double click on highlighting all. And what I did was I actually got the pivot table on the top and blank spaces on the bottom and some blank space on my right hand side. The field list, I closed it, but if I want it, I can click on the pivot table by going to my analyze tab on right hand side show group. I have the field list. I can get it back if I want. Yeah, I'm going to close it again. Now I'm going to teach you 3 different commands that will make you more productive on analyzing the data. Okay, analyzing the data. I click on the pivot table. What I have here is the product wise quarterly sales. I go to insert tab. I go to filters group and click on what you call as slicer. Now when I go to slicer, it has all the field names of my base table in the slicer. We don't call them as field names or the table headers right now. We call them as slicers in this dialog box. Now we can select everything that you see here, but I'm not going to do it because what I'm going to do is to select where I have less amount of record in each slicer. Like sales rep, I have little sales locations. Date, I won't select because I have 365 days. I will leave that because I can select it, no harm. But it's going to be difficult for me to handle. I want to select customer, product, quarters. These are having about 365 records. I select 5 options. Okay, sorry, that's gone down too much. I click OK. I got my slices. So now I'm going to get the sales rep and put it on the bottom of my screen. Yep, and I'm going to get the sales locations here. Customer, product, quarters. Now I click on my pivot table again. I'll teach you how things work here in a minute. I go to my insert tab. I go to my timeline, filters group and click on timeline. You can see the video. And the only thing that is related to my time in the data set is sales date. I select that. I click OK. I get a tiny timeline. I take it to the right hand side, keep it on the top. I have the timeline. Probably I'll drag it a little bit further so I can see my where is my horizontal word? See my screen, please. Next one. I quickly do a small change in my timeline because it is selecting month. I'm going to select date. I take the scroll bar to the left hand side. I can see January 1st, 2015. Yeah. Brilliant. Day wise, January 2nd, 3rd, 4th, likewise I have that. Then I click on my pivot table and I go to home tab and I go to my analyze group, pivot table, analyze group, analyze tab. So analyze tab. I go to tools group and click on pivot charts. And I'm going to select a bar chart to start with a clustered bar. You can see very well what I have in the bar chart in the preview is the quarterly sales projection, month-wise breakdown, and the product-wise breakdown. I click on that. I click OK. And I get this done. And I arrange it on the right hand side. Let me quickly take you through what I have in my screen. I have slices for sales rep, location, customer, product, now the quarters. And each slicer has a filter and a cross which is not active right now. And we have the chart which will give you quarterly, month-wise breakdown and the product-wise breakdown in the chart. I have my timeline that gives me day-wise indications. Now, my total sale amount is $30 million. I have the product-wise quarterly sales. My boss come and say, let's say I have a boss. I want to see quarter one sale. See my screen. I go to quarter slicer, click on quarter one. And then you automatically get the filter on, which says that you are filtered from this. 7.4 million is the total amount. And these are the months, quarter one, January, February, March. These are the product price breakdown. Now, if you watch my screen, I have the product price breakdown here. Okay. I have the product price breakdown here. And I can see cheesecake is the highest sale that is given on January. But when I go to February and March, cheesecake has gone down, the green color one. That is pretty bad. I don't understand why it has gone down. But when you look at January, the lowest sale comes from butter cake. February and March, it gives me higher sales from butter cake. It looks like, when I look at the total sales from January to March, it looks like the people who have been eating cheesecake have stopped eating that and now they are eating butter cake. I mean, it looks like that. It looks like that there is a correlation among my data from cheesecake to butter cake, which I don't get to see. Watch my screen, please. Which I don't get to see when I look at my original data set. That is why we need to create business intelligence dashboards to understand this. BI, first hand, pivot table provides you that. Did I do anything difficult here? No, it's very simple. Watch my screen. Once I'm done, I can click on the cross and come out of it. What if I want to look at quarter three sales? Click on that. $7.7 million. Same stuff. Quarter three, the amount, month-wise, product-wise breakdown. I want to say quarter one and three both. With control, I click on quarter one. We have quarter one and three both selected. Here we have the total sale amount, $15 million. Quarter one and quarter three, you can analyze it. I click on the cross and come out of it, get the whole original data back. I want to see Devon sales location sales. I go to sales location. I click on Devon. $5.7 million worth of sales. And the only sales rep from Devon is Sohan. I never will get to see this in my data set. But I come and see this sales reps slicer. I get to see that Sohan is only sales rep. That's all. There are no chocolate cake sales from Devon. I want to see Devon quarter three sales. Click on quarter three. You can select multiple slices. Sale amount is $1.3 million. These are the products. These are the customers. Let's say cheesecake. Devon sales location. Quarter three, cheesecake. The sale amount is $539,500. I want to see Michelle Akane's sale amount, $123,500. Now, if somebody asks me, could I see a detailed report on this particular number? I just have to double click. I get the detailed report. You know the drill right now. I told you that sometimes back. Is it clear? Once I'm done with it, now you can see the chart also shows the same thing. Quarter three, August. Product is cheesecake. You can get it done. The sale amount is $120,500. Once I'm done, I can click on the red color process, come back to my original data, get my original data back in my screen. I'm good. Is it clear? Right, now going forward from there, I also have a timeline on the top of my screen. Now, what is that for? I need to find out from January 15th to 20th sales. So I just go to timeline for that because there is no date slicer here. timeline is the most simple form to work with. So I click on 15th January. With shift, I click on 20th January. Here we have the product for 15th and 20th. These are the sale amount $503,750. If I wish to go deep into this product, this sales, I can also use any of these slices and understand what it is. Let's say whether we have anything from Devon. Yes, we have $154,000 worth of sales coming from January 15th to 20th from Devon. From the timeline, we can see that I have selected and the product is given down here. So this is only possible when you work with pivot tables. Once you are done, you can click on the crosses, get back to your original screen and get your original data back in your screen. And that's my pivot table. I just created a business intelligence dashboard in front of you. I just created a BI dashboard in front of you by spending a couple of seconds by using this concept called as pivot tables. You cannot do this with anything else that you have in Excel other than by using pivot tables. Is it clear? Yes? Right, one more thing I'll show you. I'm going to click on my pivot table. Please watch my screen. I go to my Analyze tab, like what I did earlier. I go to my Tools group. I click on Pivot Chart. Earlier I got a bar chart and I to get a pie chart right now. This is a pie chart that I want. I click OK. And I got my pie chart in my screen. I'm going to go to the right hand side a little bit to get my pie chart kept, because I think my pie chart looks pretty small. I want to make it a little bit bigger by dragging it. If I want, I can put some more details into my chart. The detail wise, we can just increase the font size a little bit. Here we have quarterly, month-wise breakdown plus the sale amount for each quarter. This is my quarterly sales. But you know, the beautiful thing is this pie chart is also now related to this particular full data set. Right? If you really look at my screen, if I select quarter one from here, the chart automatically drills down for quarter one. But that's not all. I can take it out. If you want, we can do something like this too. Watch my screen. I can go to quarter one January and double click there. It gives me options on what do you want to look at. You want to look at the product or sales or location or what? I want to say location. The whole dashboard syncs down for the location for that particular month. Do you see this? These unbelievable options are available for us. Interdependent, these all are interdependent. It works perfectly with together, which provides me all the features that I need to work with. And nothing else provides you this, because only the pivot table allows you to really look at this values, right? So we can double click. I can say sales. Sorry, I can double click and I can say sales comes in. It's really difficult to really look at sales, right? So likewise, you can always make sure you can filter your data. You can get your dashboard to display what you want to display by using that. It has all things that you need to look at. Right, so that's my first BI dashboard that I created, which I wanted to understand with all the necessary details. Right, do we have any questions under this point? Because I'm not done yet. Any questions, please? Right, now all of these are done based on pivot tables, right? But I want to explain to you some of the practical applications of the chart concept by using my next sheet. Now this is my pivot table sheet. See sample 1. In my sample 2, I had something similar to the same data, but we don't have much details on that. We don't have sales rep and location. We had 365 records earlier, but we have like about 31 records right now. I'm going to use this particular simple data set to talk about few charts. Right? In simple terms, I actually want to create this dashboard. I want to quickly create this dashboard for you. Okay, watch my screen now. I'll do that in a minute, but for the moment, watch my screen. First of all, I want to create this particular table. Actually, this chart has less one variable. I'm going to put multiple variables. Watch my screen. I'm going to click on customer, control shift down arrow. We'll highlight all the data. I go up, control shift down arrow for number of minutes. I go up, control shift down arrow for total sales. In fact, I'm going to have two variables against one category. I go to insert tab, charts group. I click on one of the column charts. I like stack column, but unfortunately in my stack column chart that I got here, I have only the number of unit is not visible, right? So I click on number of unit. You need to watch my screen. I click on number of unit 2 times. I get the number of units selected, and I'll right click, format data series, secondary axis. There you have number of units. Total sales in my first primary axis. I have my number of units secondary axis. And as I don't see the sales chart right now properly because it's overlapping, I right click on the red color bar, change series chart type. Total sales is what I'm going to change. I select the line chart for that. This is how it's going to be. Click OK. Here's my chart. Is it done? I'm going to anyway delete the title. Let it be. I get the chart. Click on the border. Control X. I click on a blank sheet. I get it done. And I paste it here. You don't have to be in the same sheet to analyze data. You can always go to a different place. Here is my first chart. In fact, it has to be taller. So sorry. So in my dashboard, I have got 2 of those things done. This is my number of minutes and total sales against my customer. You can see the customers down here. Is it clear? If I want to change the color and all of that, I can also go to design tab. I can apply one of these colors. If I don't like the color category, I can always apply something else that you like to apply. Done. You want the values to be there. I can apply values by using data labels. Right. So in my dashboard, I have got the first one done. I'm going to go to the second one. See my screen, please. I'm going to go to my data set. I'm going to have customer against total sales. I go to insert tab, pie charts and 3D pie. I click on the chart and change the design, go to design tab, change the style, and then I go to the quick layouts and give a layout like this, which give me the percentages. Well, that's not going to work out. Which gives me the percentages of my data. This is going to work out. Now what I want to do next is I want to right click. I'm going to go to format data series and sorry, not right click. I'm going to click on the Harry Peterson customer because it has given 8% of sales from my sales. He's on the opposite order, so I'm going to right click and say format data series and no, sorry, 3 rotation, and I'm going to go and rotate this to get Harry Peterson to where I can access. You can see it's so totally rotating and coming to my side. It's here right now, so I'm going to give like 170 and I close it. Here is Harry Peterson right now with me. Yeah, I want to differentiate him. I click on that. This is the sales from Harry Peterson. Pull the slice out. Harry Peterson, I pull that slice also out. Here is Harry Peterson over here. I'm going to pull that also out. Here's Harry Peterson over here. Pull that slice out. And here is Harry Peterson right here. I'm going to pull that also out. Did you get this chart? Do you understand this? Yes. It's very simple to really do this, but it gives me a very effective method to analyze it. I click on the chart border. Control X. I go to my dashboard and I paste it over here. Yeah. What I do as a third one is I click on this, I copy it and I paste it back onto this place. Right. So in fact, I got the same chart copy of it. I want to analyze a few of my sale records. I want to analyze few of my sale records. 1 minute. I want to analyze few of my sale records that I have allocated for Harry Peterson customer in a different way, because it's possible, but you can analyze it. If I can analyze it separately, it's good. So I'm going to right click on this chart. I'm going to go to change series chart type and select a pie of 5. I click on Harry Peterson and put them back here. And I put the Harry Peterson back here too. I got the pie of 5 analyzed given for me. Yeah. So now here we have multiple options, multiple customers, but I want, let's say, only Harry Peterson's to be there. So what I can do is I can click on this, click once more, right click and say format data point. This is my first, this call as my second plot, this call as my first plot. I go to my second plot, select one of these slices and say I want a custom option and put the plot back to first point. Select another one, put into the first plot. Select another one, put into the first plot. First plot means remove from here, put it over here, right? So I select another one and put it into the first plot. I click on another one and put it into the first plot. I put another one and click into the first plot. There are lots down there, so I just quickly do it. There is no way that you can do automatically all of that, so you have to do it one after another. Getting back is pretty simple, other than putting it on, right? So now I have nothing in the right hand side, so what I do is I get the Harry Peterson. First of all, I'm going to do something very nice. I'm going to go to my data set. I go to click on the first customer. I go to data tab and sort my data. A to Z. So when I go to my sheet, my dashboard, I see all my customers are pretty well sorted. Here we have the Harry Petersons. I click on Harry Peterson from here and say I want to put it in my second plot. There you have. There you have the second Harry Peterson, second plot. My third Harry Peterson, second plot. Fourth Harry Peterson customer, second plot. Fifth one, second plot. Right, so we have all my Harry Petersons down here in my second plot. When you have original data set, as a subset of it, I have analyzed Harry Peterson separately. You can look at a branch even like that. Right, so the total of the branch probably will be 30% of the total sale that you have got. That's basically it. Right, so we are actually creating dashboards. Now, you know what is the beautiful thing about this is, now we have only three different charts in this dashboard. I'll get the last chart, which is this one created, and I'll show you how it works. This dashboard will update by itself when your original data set updates, because as I told you, let me show you something. If I copy and paste some records from here to here, this dashboard will automatically update. See, you saw it got updated, right? Yes, I don't have to do anything. That is what you call as productivity. Obviously, you just have to keep on analyzing your data. You don't have to waste your time looking at other things. You got the point? Yes? Right, finally, I'm going to create what you call as a speedometer chart. Now to do that, we need to have some certain amount of data. So that's the reason why I got some data here in my dashboard, the control panel here. I'm going to get some data copied, and I'm going to bring it back to my the sheet, and I'm going to put this data back on somewhere on the bottom, right? So I'm going to create. Look at my screen. First of all, I'm going to create a speedometer chart by using this data. That's the last part of it. I'll need about 5 minutes to do this. I'll then wind up my session, right? I'll create the speedometer first, then I'll apply that into a practical scenario. Okay, I highlight this data, watch my screen. I'm not giving steps on it, but watch my screen. And I go to my insert. I go to charts group and I get a donut chart. Now to the donut chart, I remove the title, I remove the legends. I click on the donut, right click, format data series. I rotate these 3 slices to come to the top. So by rotating 270, I can get it to the top. I increase the size of the hole, I decrease it by 50%, and there you have. I click on the blue color slice at the whole chart, and then I go to format tab and say no outline, and I click on the blue color slice and I say no fill. Brown color slice, as we have red, yellow and green here, I'm going to get that red, green one should be yellow, purple one should be green. Did you get it? Yes. Now I have the chart, but unfortunately I don't have wait a minute. Unfortunately I don't have the gauge. Gauge means the arm that moves around. So what I do is I right click on this, I go to select data and add, and when I get this dialog box, I delete what I have on the bottom. I keep the series name empty and I highlight these three numbers and I click OK. I click OK. I get this chart. I right click on this chart and go to format data series, what I got earlier. Sorry, I right click on this and I go to chart series and then select the second series and I change it to pi. And I right click on the middle of the pi and go to format data series. Secondary axis, rotate it from 270 to fit it on top of the previous chart that I had. Now this is what I get. So I click on this chart again, I go to my format tab and say no outline. Click on the blue slice and say no fill. Click on the green slice and say no fill. Click on the brown slice and make it black, outline black, effect shadow out, the shadow I give over here. Now I go to the plus sign of this and I just go to data labels and say outside in. When I click on that particular label that I have, so I'm going to actually do one thing. I got my speedometer chart done, it's over. I need to get this over here, so I'm going to get this speedometer chart up, right? So I can probably drag it and make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to click on the speedometer chart. I'm going to fill it with the gray color that I have put for the rest of all areas. So this is darker than that. But this label over here is actually not going to work out for me. I'm going to go to home tab, increase the font size of the label, give the font as white. But here it shows 1 because the size of the gauge is 1. But I'm going to link this to the label. I'm going to highlight that. I go to formula bar. I say equal. I click on 45 and press enter. Here we have 45. So the position that is in right now is 45. Is it clear? Right, but I can always change the 45 to whatever I want. So as an example, if I click over here and says 50, oh, sorry, something I did over here. If I change it to 50, your speedometer change it to 50. Yeah. Now I need to make sure I get my data set linked to this. So what I do is this. I actually have to go. I need to get some data in here. I actually have to go to this cell. I'm going to say this month's target revenue. Let's say I increase the font size a little bit. It's 850,900. Sorry, it has 2.3 million. Sorry, maybe more than that. So I'm going to say 9.8 million. This is my this month target revenue, 9.8 million. My current revenue, you know, sorry, you know very well about my format painter. I click on format painter and get it applied here. Now, how do I get the current revenue? Equal. I'm going to put a sum function for my data set, and I press enter. Is my current revenue. Is it done? So I got the current revenue here, but what I don't have is the current revenue percentage, because you know why? My speedometer chart varied from 0 to 100. So I need to get this as a percentage. How do I really get it done? How do I get it done? Equal. This value divide by this value times 100. This one. This value should be replicated in this place. Yes. So what I do is I go to the bottom, I click on this 50, say equal, and I click on this value. Say enter. You get that particular value replicated. So I'm going to go here and get format painter to help me out with this. 33.21. There you go. 32.2 is basically my sorry. Right, so now if you really look at my dashboard that I have created here, if you really look at my dashboard that I have created here, I can also highlight these data blanks areas, and I can put some fill color into this. Do you know that now it is 33%, right? Yes or no? It's 33. This is 33%, right? Now I wanted to watch my screen. I wanted to watch my screen and understand this. Now this is 33%. If I go to this my original table, I get another set of data. Go to the bottom and paste it. And go to my dashboard. Do you see it has automatically become 40% right now? Yes or no? So what does it mean right now? You know how to create a dashboard. You know how to get the speedometer chart done. My video learning guides will support you. It means that when your original data updates, your dashboard updates. I showed you two methods to get a dashboard done. First method is, look at my screen please. First method is to work with your pivot table concept in order to get this kind of a dashboard created. Very effective. And also you can create dashboard with normal methods that you have by using charts and certain things that you can build in. And with this, I'm going to wind up on my Excel program. Do we have any questions until this point? Okay, let me first of all tell you some few things. I'm going to close down my Excel sheet. I'm going to come out of this. I'll give you this. Listen, I'll give you this Excel workbook that I worked around. So you can obviously go back and have a look at what I've done, so you can get an idea about it. That's number one. Number two is, I don't think you will remember much of what I have taught you in the Excel application, because there are a lot of things that I've told you. Right? I'm doing the video learning guide, so obviously you can go back and have a look at it. And third thing is, the program gets over from here doesn't mean that your work is done. Your work starts from here, because we need to start practicing these things. You have to start working with it. Now I know that you're probably your bank doesn't have the license right now, and my understanding when I had a chat with your IT team and Microsoft is that there is a process of procuring the product, which will be started and implemented in most of your PCs across the next couple of months and years. So you will get the version, you can start working with it. In fact, you get the latest version, you can work with it. Yeah. On top of it, if you have queries, if you need our support, you can always take down the details. I have my details, and okay, the person. I did the proceed. Okay. do it. Last slide. No, it's okay. Yeah, that is close. That one.
পিছনেরটা
The contacts that you see at the top is Sia, who came in the morning, who is a contact person from Microsoft. Even you can contact him. I don't have his details, but you can talk to him and get some details. If you have any queries, please talk to him. From Microsoft, if you need support, they will help you out with anything. And Charya is here, he will also help you out. And then, if you want my support, you can also have my details down there. You can see. You can take down my details. I have a number in Bangladesh, but I've been here in Bangladesh for about a week. But after that, I'm not going to be there. And you can always contact through my local number in Sri Lanka. But otherwise, you can write to me in any of my emails that I mentioned down there. Please utilize them. Take it down and utilize it. If required, please write to me. I'll be more than happy to help you out. My process is that if you have a query, you can talk to me. If you write to me about a query, any question that you have, I will always record a video and send you the link to download it, because I believe looking at a video is today easy and easy understandable rather than going through some steps. I always do that. So please make sure you talk to me, get the support that you need. Otherwise, you can get local support from Microsoft to get get your issues clarified. So thank you so much for coming to our program. I hope you learned something from our program. Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I hope to see you in some other program in the future.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Surudu Sakarege, for your nice contacting for consecutive sessions. I think our participants